to be discussing and reviewing the Prom movie on Netflix. We're gonna cover the good, the maybe not so good, the controversial, and just talk about the movie as a whole. So let me say right now, spoiler alert. I'm not going to like intentionally spoil anything, but because we're talking about the movie, I'm sure some details are going to come out. So if you want to be completely surprised, stop watching now. I do have a spoiler-free video on the prom if you want to watch that, but this is your official warning, spoilers. If this is your first time seeing my face, hi! My name is Kat and I really like musicals. If you really like musicals, hit subscribe to join the musical theater internet cult. By hitting subscribe, Keegan-Michael Key is legally required to take you on a date to apples and bees. I know that I made that exact same joke in my last prom video, but everyone who hadn't seen the show yet and didn't get the joke just thought I was crazy, so now everyone still probably thinks I'm crazy. Question of the day, what did you think about the prom on Netflix? Love it, hate it, somewhere in between? What were your thoughts on the actors, the choreography, anything and everything? Let me know in the comments down below. So let's jump into it. I sound like Philip DeFranco. Overall, I will say right off the bat, I loved it. You know, I had high expectations for the movie and I think they absolutely exceeded them. I think this movie was pure joy. You know, it really celebrates love and hope and change and growth at a time where we really needed it. Or maybe I just really needed it. Like I really needed something to happy cry over and then dance along to, and the prom absolutely delivered. I love it when theater and musicals are made easily accessible, and Netflix has such a wide reach and an ability to touch people. So I'm just straight up thrilled. And I think this is a story that worked especially well for the screen. It retained all of the heart of the stage show, but still added like an element of reality in. And it's also a musical with like a lot of different set locations, so it was kind of nice to actually be inside the Applebee's and to like meet up under the bleachers and to see the monster truck rally. This show sounds insane. Like if you don't know the show, oh my god. Because nothing says quintessential musical theater like a monster truck rally. I've been texting my friends about this, and call me crazy, but we kind of feel like this is Meryl Streep's best musical theater role. She's warm, she's funny, she's perfectly over the top. Her voice sounds phenomenal in this material, and I loved her dynamic with Keegan-Michael Key, which, disclaimer, I love Keegan-Michael Key, like one of my all-time celebrity crushes, so I'm biased, but that's not the only reason I loved him in this movie. I feel like he balanced out the cast in a really good way. He was ridiculous and heroic and simping for Meryl, but all in a very real, relatable, honest way. Nicole Kidman was great. I've never seen Moulin Rouge. I've never seen Nicole Kidman sing, and I actually really like her in a musical. You know, I don't think I really understood Angie's purpose or arc in the show until now, so that was fun to have that character like finally click for me. Kerry Washington was great, but like we already knew that. I had no idea she could sing, so that was like a super cool surprise. But I gotta say, and I think we all know it, the standouts of this film were Ariana DeBose and Jo Ellen Pellman. They knocked it out of the park. Of course their voices were great, but that's a given. That's like, you know, the barrier to entry. Have a great voice, be in a musical. But it was their choices for me. Their vulnerability, their hope, their honesty. I think they worked really well together as a team. I liked their chemistry, I liked their dynamic. I feel like they did a really great job in still honoring and kind of utilizing the heightened world of musical theater and really retaining that theatricality while still bringing something really honest that works well for the screen. I am immensely looking forward to watching all of the things that Ariana DeBose has been working on, and I hope Jo Ellen announces some too, because I have very quickly become a fan. There were a couple of changes and moments in the movie that I feel worked really well. First and foremost, turning the song Alyssa Green into a scene rather than a soliloquy. The stakes were higher dramatically, it just made more sense, it was more interesting to watch. When I saw the prom on Broadway, I went with my mom.
It's like me! No!
And we watched the movie together, and when we got to the part where Alyssa Green was a scene, we both turned to each other and gasped at the same time because we were like, this is amazing! I also really liked that we got introduced to Emma first. In the musical, it actually starts with the red carpet for Eleanor, and then you go to Indiana. So the show starts with this like crazy, fun, larger-than-life world, and then you go to sad, small, homophobic town. It's a really odd tonal shift and kind of creates this uphill battle to get back into the comedic place where they want the show to be. But in the movie, because we meet Emma first and then we see the crazy New York people, it's almost like a Cinderella story. Which, while we're talking about that, why did they feel the need to make fun of Emma's potential prairie prom dress? Cottagecore is in and I love it. Okay, I will happily take that dress off their hands and go wander around the forest listening to Evermore. Which I got some requests and questions to pick back up a Taylor Swift Broadway video that I had mentioned recently, so people have been asking if I'm working on that. Gotta say, not a lot going on at the moment for that one. Something I noticed about the Prom movie that I'd love to hear your thoughts on: Emma's character as a whole seems much more confident and self-assured. What do you think about that? Because I kind of liked in the musical getting to see Emma's confidence grow as she makes more friends and has more people supporting her. It's really nice and sweet, and Caitlin Kinnaman, who originated the role, did a fantastic job in bringing that to light. But I also didn't really miss it from the movie because there was so much else going on. I don't know, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I'm still up in the air. Overall, I really want to emphasize I enjoyed the absolute heck out of this movie, and it brought me so much hope and joy, and I loved it. There were a handful of things I found a little questionable though. The most unrealistic concept in the movie is getting drunk at an Applebee's, because their drinks are way too weak to do that. And that is coming from a lightweight. Matthew Morrison! But for real, I will say it's definitely an interesting day when Andrew Rannells is the most understated actor on screen. I feel like his character kind of got lost in the shuffle, and I love him and I love the role of Trent, so I kind of wish he had the opportunity to do more with the role. I feel like some of the camera movement, especially noticeable in Tonight Belongs to Us, didn't service the choreography in the way I would have liked. Because they wanted like all of these cool shots, I feel like you couldn't really see what the dancers were doing, and that's what I want to watch. I just want to watch this awesome athletic choreography. You know, theater and film are just two very different mediums, and I feel like something that film really struggles with is accurately capturing the excitement of live dance in theater. Obviously, two different art forms, they're not going to translate perfectly, but I feel like that's a really major discrepancy. Like, seeing someone dance right in front of you rather than watching it on a screen, it's really difficult to do, and I wish there was a better way to translate that energy. The added subplot of Barry reconciling with his mom, I think, was a really nice sentiment, but I'm not the biggest fan of the execution. I feel like having Dee Dee set up the reunion against Barry's wishes and without his knowledge was not a great move. That's totally overstepping a boundary, especially for a Broadway show that was so inclusive and had so many other great messages. It felt like a really weird, invalidating moment. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And while we're on the topic of James Corden, I've also been getting a lot of questions about my thoughts on him playing this role. Is it okay to have James Corden play a gay character? Hi, hello, it's me. I'm from the future. Very spooky, I know. Right now, I just finished filming, and at this point in the video, I go on a very lengthy, incoherent rant. So now that I've had a chance to collect my thoughts, here is a collection of my thoughts. If I had directed the prom, I would have cast a gay actor as Barry. That's my opinion. And that's the thing, is that it's very difficult to argue an opinion because, you know, in Ryan Murphy's opinion, James Corden was the best actor for the role. I also don't think it's my place to decide if it's okay that James Corden played this role. You know, I think that this is really a matter of representation and feeling accurately represented in this story, and I'm not a gay man. Like, I can't speak to the authenticity of this because that's not my life. It's like when people accept apologies for things that wasn't directed at them, and they're like, no, it's okay, when they weren't the ones who, like, had their feelings hurt. That's how I feel about this, you know? I don't have the authority to give the stamp of approval here. So those are my thoughts on that. I just cut like 50 minutes from the video. Back to the rest of the video. I also wanted to share a really interesting article with you guys that just came out in the LA Times. It's by Ashley Lee. If you haven't read it yet, I'll link it down below. But basically, it's a conversation about the contributions that the original Broadway cast of The Prom gave to the story of the prom. And especially in this instance where so many roles were based on or written for the people involved, and it kind of talks about the money, profit sharing, legacy. It's a really interesting read. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It was so fun to just sit down and watch a musical again. It was really joyful. It was just a joyful, joyful movie, and I had a great time. So those are my thoughts on the prom. I am dying to hear your thoughts. Love it, hate it, Oscar predictions? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I hope you guys are having a great day. I love you so, so much. Break a leg, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!